All right, good afternoon, traders. Today, May 13th, 2026. My name, Coach Carignan, instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That's a day trading service for the hit and run candlesticks family. All right, let's take a peek. 2,900 today on a 38K account using 3880 as 10% of my trading account to trade with. That's what I had for risk. Let's move this out of the way. Let's take a look at some charts. Let's start off with SPY. And SPY on the 10-minute. We got a weak 2-candle downtrend commencing. Still bullish consolidation. You can see price still up here at the highs right here, plateauing. All right, got a little M pattern showing right now. We'll see where it wants to go. We're up over VWAP, so that's bullish on the 10-minute, bullish consolidation, or you can call it a 2-candle downtrend. Let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. And we've got the sticks and the 3 riding up on top of the rising 8 EMA. So we got daylight between the 3 and the 8. So we have ourselves a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. 10-minute bullish consolidation, 2-hour uptrend. Daily candle. Daily candle is a higher low, higher high. New all-time high on the daily candle. So that is bullish and in an uptrend. Weekly chart. Okay, so there's the daily candle. Higher low, higher high, closed over a bullish trap. Over the rising 17, top of quadrant 4. Weekly, so that's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take this and turn it off. All right, on the weekly chart, that's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly chart, that's going to be bullish and in an uptrend as well. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ on the 10-minute chart got bullish consolidation, holding the higher ground up here at the highs. Got a weak 2-candle downtrend starting to commence. We'll see where that goes later on. Bullish consolidation on the 10-minute chart. 2-hour chart, we've got the sticks and the 3 riding up on top of the rising 8. We've got a 2-hour uptrend. You can see daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. Daily candle, new all-time high for QQQ. That's bullish and in an uptrend for QQQ. Weekly chart and monthly chart are also going to be bullish and in an uptrend if the daily's putting in new all-time highs. So you can see both of them bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at IWM, and we'll look at that on the daily chart. All right, so IWM got an inside day that's a lower high and a higher low. We closed inside of a bullish trap over the rising 17, middle of quadrant 4. All right, so that's bullish and in an uptrend for IWM. Has not made any lower lows. Take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow, another inside day. So lower high, higher low, closed over a bullish trap, over the rising 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. In the middle of quadrant 4, if it's in the upper third, it's bullish. In the middle of quadrant 4 is going to be bullish. We have not made lower lows, so we're bullish and in an uptrend on Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU puts in a new rally high. That's going to be bullish and in an uptrend for FNGU. You can see higher low, higher high, closing in the upper third, actually in the bottom of quadrant 4, up over this all-time high anchored VWAP. Here's price action for FNGU. This is the all-time low. That's the all-time high. This pink line is the all-time high anchored VWAP. We are measuring the bounce from the prior all-time high clear down to the pullback low. You can see we're up here in quadrant 4, so that's bullish and in an uptrend. We have not made any lower lows. Here's a high that pokes through the falling 17. There's another high. There's another high. All right, and you can see we made new higher highs here on FNGU. Again, bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at silver and gold. Silver got a higher low and a higher high, closed over a bullish trap, closed over the all-time high anchored VWAP. I'm going to pan out. This is the origin of the move back here in 2022. There's the all-time high. That pink line right there is the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, we are almost closing in the upper third. Didn't quite make it again. Okay, we got some wick that goes up there, but they got to close up there. So silver still neutral. There's a high, made a higher high, and in an uptrend. Neutral and in an uptrend. Knocking on the door of the upper third up here on silvers. Take a look at gold. Neutral and an uptrend for silver. Gold puts in a inside day, lower high, higher low, closed inside a bullish trap over the flat 17. At the bottom of quadrant 4, that's going to be bullish. Okay, we're underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. We have not made higher highs, all right, on gold since we've made lower lows. So we have a low here, a low here, a low here. You can see clearly we made lower lows. So until we make higher highs, we are still stuck in this downtrend for making the lower lows. The good news is it's a dysfunctional downtrend in that price is not moving down. It's actually moving over to the right or melting up slightly. So gold is bullish because it's in the bottom of quadrant 4, but in a dysfunctional downtrend that's just not moving any further down at this time. So there's gold on the daily chart. Okay, let's take a look at USO. And on USO, we've got an outside day. The high there was 144.80. The high there was 145. So outside day, higher high, lower low. We closed over a bullish trap over the flat 17 in the middle of quadrant 4 up here. So that's going to be bullish. We have not made lower lows, so that's bullish and in an uptrend for USO. I'm going to zoom out. The origin of this move starts in 2023. That is a post-COVID high rally. That's our post-COVID rally. Remember, on COVID, the market went and took a tank down to the bottom, tanked. All right, well, then after we tanked, we had a robust rally all the way back to some highs. Well, that was the high that was set then, and this is the prior high anchored VWAP. Currently on USO, this is an 11-year high right there. They haven't been, last time we were there was 11 years ago. Okay, so currently we're bullish. We're in the middle of quadrant 4, haven't made any lower lows, so we're still in an uptrend, bullish and in an uptrend for USO. Let's take a look at UNG. All right, for UNG, we've got UNG's in an uptrend. Okay, today's candle, higher low, higher high. We closed over a bullish trap, closed over the 17. Now you got to see this. I got to pan out so you can see it. All right, so this is the high for 2025. Okay, so this is like a 13-month high anchored VWAP right there, 14-month high anchored VWAP right there. Okay, this pink line. Okay, so that's not the all-time high. That's just a 14-month high anchored VWAP. Okay, it's a 14-month high. Right here is the all-time low. We have been flirting with the all-time lows. All right, we're down here. Okay, recently we made a higher low and a higher high. See, there's a little high right there. Pull back, make a valley. So that's a higher low, and then rip and make a little higher high. So we're in an uptrend currently, but back to this high right here in 2025. Okay, so you can see we're at the bottom of quadrant 1. That means we're bearish. So when we're in the lower third of the quad lines, okay, we're bearish. When we're in the upper third, we're bullish. We're in between, we're just neutral. So we're down here in the bottom of quadrant 1, so that's going to be bearish, all right? But in an uptrend right now, starting a new uptrend on UNG. That's the daily candle. Let's take a look at internals. And we're going to move over here to T2101. And on T2101, we made new highs today, but we increased in participation and absolute market breadth right here. That's a good sign, but let's just say we're still near the reversal zone down here. Okay, it's a 15-minute chart for the absolute breadth of the market, which kind of means we're talking about the participation. So you can see we've got very little participation. All these new all-time highs that we've been making have been made on very thin volume, which makes them very easy to tip over. It's like Jenga, all right, but take out half the blocks, and that's what the tower looks like. It's about to fall over. Okay, not saying it is falling over. I'm just saying that's the stability of what we got because we went straight up. So currently, this is down here. This is going to be bearish for me in that we're making new highs, but we're making it on very thin volume. Okay, T2122 did not help us out either today. Okay, we can see we camped out all day in the sell zone. Again, we keep making lower highs. See, we're up here in the overbought, lower high, 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 and again another lower high. Okay, so we keep camping out in the sell zone below this midpoint here. This would be bullish control up here above the gold line. Below the gold line would be bearish control. You can see for the past 3-4 days, the bears have been present and accounted for, kind of pushing price back down. Okay, so this is T2123. Again, another bearish clue right there. Not to say that we can't continue going higher. I'm just saying we can go higher, but we can't keep this up forever. I'm seeing a lot of bearish control I'm seeing, well, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing bullish momentum come to, not to a screeching halt, but kind of getting transferred over to the bears. And now the bears are starting their momentum as they start rolling price over and start heading back down. So it may take a week or so, and I think eventually we're going to see a pretty decent pullback. I don't know how far it's going to go. T2122, another bearish clue, camped out all day in the sell zone. Let's take a look at T2123. Bearish gap down. Notice the bulls could not fill the gap right there. We're under the rising 200 SMA. Not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear, and I'm not a bear right now. So currently you can see price, another bearish clue right there. So we've got a high, and then we've got a low, and then we've got a lower high, and then we made a lower low yesterday, and then we made a lower high, and then today, guess what? We made another lower low, all right? So we're in a downtrend, but we're still in the top of we're in the middle of quadrant 4, so we're bullish up here if we're in the upper third. Okay, so we're bullish, but let's face it, we're in a downtrend on the 15-minute chart. Okay, and we're under the rising 200 SMA. They could recover it. We'll see what happens. That is 15-minute chart for T2123. Here's a 3-bar chart. All right, a little bit different here. You can see prices up here in the middle of quadrant 4. That's going to be bullish. Measure from the bottom to the top. That's going to be bullish because we're in the middle of quadrant 4. And you can see we haven't made any lower lows. The lows that we need to break are down here. Okay, so we're still in an uptrend. So on the bigger time frame, we're still bullish. But notice the rounding over that's starting to occur here. And notice the rounding over that we saw starting to occur in T2122. See the rounding over, and now you're starting to see some bearish control now. Okay, so that's T2123. All right, on the 3-bar chart, that's taking the whole day and dividing it up into 3 equal segments. All right, let's take a look at, that was 3-bar chart for T2123. Let's take a look at FNGU for today. Huge rally for FNGU. Okay, so now we've got to remember FNGU is only 10. It's only 10 securities, but it's 10 of the biggest heavyweights that are in the SPY and the QQQ. So it has the capability of jerking those two indexes right along with whatever direction it's moving into. Regardless, if the rest of the market, okay, is melting off, okay? That's how much power those 10 stocks have. So back to FNGU. Price action for FNGU, they just melted up all day. There's a high. They made a higher high. So that's in an uptrend. And if we put the quad lines on there, you're going to see it's at the very top. Okay, so top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. All right, we made higher highs. That's an uptrend. We're up over the rising 200 SMA. That's where you want to be if you're a bull. And we're up over the all-time high pink line anchored VWAP right there. Bullish and in an uptrend. US dollar index. Okay, there is a 6-month downtrend. Okay, so that's our flag pole. And then we go into a 8 to 10 month bear flag over here. Hockey stick, bear flag. All right, and we try 5 times to break out of the top of the bear flag. But what we broke here, when we came down here and started the bear flag, we broke major support. So all of this consolidation that you saw from 2023, halfway through 2024, was all consolidation right there. So this was major support. Above it would have been minor support. Below it is major. We broke the major support, all right? And you can see the dollar is stuck down here below the major support, and it's had a hard time to break back up into this consolidation zone. So we've got a 6-month bear flag, bear flag pole, 10-month bear flag. So we've got a fabric of the flag is kind of longer than the flag pole right now. Okay, so we've got a very extended bear flag, and we are in a downtrend because we haven't made any higher highs. Here's a low right there. You can see a valley low right there, and here is a lower low. So we're in a downtrend on the daily chart for the US dollar index. All right, let's take a look at the guidance today, because this is going to be important to see is how we did with the guidance. All right, so this was our plan early this morning. Let's examine it. Okay, in the pre-market, we observed consolidation over prior consolidation. Plan to trade an uptrend up over 740.50. All right, to the 741 call wall, then to 745. All right. On the downside, plan to trade a 10-minute downtrend below 739.40. Let's go see what the pre-market looks like. And in order to see that, I need to come over to this chart, and I need to push that up. And I need to go to SPY because that's the one we traded. And I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart. All right, so in the pre-market, you can see we've got consolidation up here. Well, we had consolidation right here when we left off in the post-market from the day before. So we had consolidation over prior consolidation. So that would be a bullish environment. Then before we opened up, you can see we had a breakdown right on the bottom of the base. So this was a breakdown from the base. I was short, stayed short, and then we came all the way down here, and then I had to shut down the short because we had a bullish engulfing candle there with some follow through to the upside. We started a 5-minute uptrend. We got into this 5-minute uptrend and traded it all the way back up to 742, actually 743.87 area, okay, which was the new all-time high. Okay, so that's what we did. So on the downside, let's check this out. Okay, so we were going to trade a 10-minute or a downtrend below 739.40. Okay, so we broke the base. All right, so 739.40. Let's put a line in for that. Okay, there's 739.40 right there. Okay, right along the base. So we took the downtrend and we stayed in it on the 10-minute chart. Okay, stayed in this downtrend. And then we had bullish engulfing. with follow through. Okay, so we're looking for it to come back to VWAP. Then we got into the uptrend when we got on top of the gap fill right here and traded that to the upside. So we traded puts and calls. Puts and calls. When we broke, we had a green erases red event. All right, so we had a green erases red event right here. This would have been the red from the top of that wick down to the bottom of this tail right here. So then we had a green erases red event or entry. Okay. And I'll push one over here. And I'm going to color this one green. Right here. Okay. So you see we have a green erases red. The green candles surpass the red candles that push down. So we had right there, and we went all the way up to here. Let's see what we got. Right up to there. Okay. So where was the entry on this? Right here where the green erases the red. Right there. Right where the green wipes out the red, that was an entry. You had another entry if you wanted in on top of the base, right up here. There was another entry right there if you wanted one. Okay. We broke the 10-minute bullish rubber band candle. That was another entry right here. Okay, so there's an entry there for breaking the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle on a 10-minute uptrend. There's an entry right here for the green erases red. You've got a wave of price coming down into an exhaustion candle. Okay, so there was a green erases red entry right here, right as you passed over the top of this wick, right there of that red candle. You had another green erases red entry as you passed over the wick of this red candle right here as price rose up through there. That was another green erases red. So you had three different entries to trade this to the upside, okay, as green erases red or breaking the bullish rubber band candle. On top of that, you had the 10-minute uptrend. I'm going to move all this out of the way. You're going to see the picture of money. I'm going to show you the picture of money here. I'm going to move all of this out of the way. Okay, so the picture of money is when you see the AEMA on the 10-minute chart or the 5-minute chart. You can see the ADMA and the VWAP get further and further apart. See how they grow? The distance between them grows. That is the picture of money. That is the easy money picture. All right, whenever you see the 10-minute chart, the ADMA either rises up and away from the VWAP or dives lower and lower, going further and further away from a falling VWAP. Either way, up or down, that's the picture of money. You want to see the distance between the ADMA and the VWAP grow wider and wider and wider. Okay? So that was our price for today. Nice 10-minute uptrend right there. Ripping up through, taking out the rubber band candle, breaking it. All right? See right there, we come over. See that free-floating candle? That's the rubber band candle. All right? And then this is the spike candle. We come up over the rubber band candle and close above it. So we break it. All right? That's an entry right there for me. Okay? So there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. Beautiful 10-minute uptrend. And that's how we made our money today. Trading the downtrend and the uptrend. All right. I'm going to check the room, see if I got any questions. Any questions, traders? If you didn't make money today, get with me. All right. I will post that in the room again. Right here is the best way to get a hold of me. Okay. Oh, good. You traded SPY calls and you did well. Did you get a goal? Thanks, John. You made quite a few goals. Robert got 3 goals. Way to go. CP got a couple goals. Looks like 5 of them. All right. If you need to get a hold of me, right here in the notes. Okay. If you're not making your goals, this is how to get a hold of me. Right here in Coaching with John. Right there. Okay. So you come over here to notes, come down to free coaching with John, and that's where you are. Here's the Teams invite. You just click on that, and that'll open up the Teams, and just let me know who you are, and we will schedule. It says 15 minutes, but let me just say this. I will stay with you as long as necessary so that you are fixed, all right? We will fix whatever is wrong. In other words, I will get you fixed. All right? If you're not making your goals, I'm committed to making you a successful trader. All right? So don't be shy. All right? So excellent opportunity to get some free coaching from a professional. All right, that's it, traders. Awesome day. See you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock. We'll do it again. All right? Thank you, everybody. Alan, yes, but the numbers will be different. All right? The numbers are going to be different. I trade a 10-minute chart, so I got the PPO numbers for the SPY 10-minute chart. All right? So that you can use the PPO, and you can use the same settings, but you're going to have to study the security and the PPO to find the sweet spot of when you want to trade it. So what I like to do is look at the chart, okay, right here on the daily. Let's just move all this out of the way. Let's just take Intel. All right, and you want to view it on a daily chart. Okay, so see right here. So I would want whatever that number is. That's when Intel was just starting its rip. Okay, so I would want something where it's 106. You know, see we have 0.06 on the daily chart. You might want greater than 1. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, all right. So you got to kind of look back in history at the PPO and look at it as to what number you would want to see so that you're not jumping into it and it's not going to perform. So I know, like, when I get on the PPO on the 10-minute on the SPY, if I'm up over 0.06, like I am here, see this is that's 0.04, and then it grows up here to 0.06, okay, as we cleared the base. All right, so obviously that was the sweet spot right here. As we cleared the base right through here, and you can see it right through there, okay? So you can see the PPO is, 0.07, 0.08. All right, that's when you got that picture of money. It's really making you some money right up there. All right. So kind of study and look at what you would want to see and what is the PPO doing, and then go back in history and look and see if price is still moving down when the PPO is blue or green, okay, up here, and it's 1.0 or greater. You know what I'm saying? because you don't want price to be moving down and your signal's telling you yes. So you've got to come up with a number, and it might be a wide range. It might be like 0.80 up to 1.2. But at least you'll have something that will give you like a tried and true, yes, get in on this. I can see when they coming up here, they rip over the 9 EMA. So my settings on this are 8, 13, and the exponential 9 EMA. So this right here is a 9 EMA. And when price candles are rising, okay, they got higher lows here. And now they're starting to get higher highs there, up over the 9. Okay, that all represents bullishness or probably an uptrend right there. See how the lows keep getting higher, and now the highs, now the tops keep getting higher as it flips right there. Yeah, personalized for each stock, exactly. All right, and specifically for that daily time frame. You know what I'm saying? You want it customized for that time frame too, because you're going to be using the daily chart. But go back and through and see and try to find something where it's going to give you good numbers. If it's at that number, then you want to get in on what's going on. All right, it'll take a little while, but let me tell you, if you do the homework and you get it done, you'll be happy you did, because now you've got something that just you just wait for that number, and then you can, every time it hits that number, it sends you an alert, and then you just jump in on it. Yeah. All right, guys. See you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. We'll do it again. New guidance, new gains.